Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. Beautiful morning, you're the sun of my morning.
I see. But hey, I'm just gonna say out with hey. Hi guys. Do you guys have your chai already? You,
Yes.
you
And
promised you have. Libin
I
half the
promise
time.
as
Tomin,
well.
that's horrible acting. That's horrible
Yeah,
acting. Tomin's like
yo,
yadding
she
to it.
actually has the tea bag, so
Oh,
yeah.
it's fancy.
Mine is not. It's not a lie. Can reach a
Is it
gold. Right?
is it from yesterday's and then he just like kept it in there and didn't
Oh,
wash it?
yeah,
Oh, that noise.
Let me
Yes. Yeah, that noise says that you're having chai. So
Appu,
everyone today,
that noise should be your starting sound.
I hate that
yeah, like
noise. Such a
One on
bad
fire
noise.
show.
that's
that's a smart idea. That's a good
that's
one.
not,
I'm not
it
even
sounds
say
like
no.
ASMR type.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna introduce the awesome Neenu to everybody. I'm not even gonna call you Chechi here, okay? It's awesome Neenu. So because she can act, dance, sing, play so many instruments. I have never seen a bigger collection of books anywhere else apart from her house. I've never seen so many animals at one place apart from a zoo and her house.
Well, you never
And
been
I
to my
they
house.
the only animal there is you, Libin. But
Beast.
second and second last, they have a recording studio inside their house, which is pretty
Nice.
cool. So that's why she's cool and awesome, and that's why we need to talk to her.
Wow, this is quite the introduction. Yeah, I can't accept all of it, but thank you. And thanks
You
for
are,
having me, guys.
and most of all, you teach. You are a teacher.
I am a teacher.
How
Which
is
So
that?
yeah,
How is that
that
dealing with kids?
I actually love it. Yeah, it's not something that I set out to do. It just fell into my lap. And then I always thought it was going to be a temporary thing. I still kind of think it's a temporary thing. But here we are, 6 years later, and I'm still
In
teaching.
6 years?
It has been 6 years. Yeah.
Wow.
which
Yeah.
grade do you teach?
So I teach A levels, year 12s and 13s. Yeah.
You
So that's
teach A levels?
yes, I do.
I thought you taught like kids or something.
Yeah, me too. I thought you taught like
Yeah.
grade 2 or 3. What is this A levels? From where?
Guys, I cannot handle the little kids. I don't think I have the patience for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I love the A levels. It's like talking to you guys. You can be yourself and you can say stuff and not think about it too much. Like, are you hurting their feelings or anything? You have to be very careful. Yeah. So no, yeah, A levels. It's been great so far. Yeah.
No, I always tell my friends that I'd rather do my 4 years of degree all over again than do A levels. So those
Yeah.
of you who don't know A levels, it's 11th and 12th basically for everyone, but it's 12th and 13th for us because we follow the British system. So it's A levels, advanced levels. But
Nah,
yeah, I would not do it A levels like
I'm the
never.
opposite. I would do A
No.
levels again. It was so
Really?
fun.
Hated A levels. Hated A levels.
Yeah, A levels
From
was
O
fun.
levels, O levels are ordinary levels, Tomin, because it's like, you know how you have your 10th exam, you have 11th exam, it's called ordinary levels, O levels, and then we have 2 more years, so that's A levels. So O levels, your exam is like baby exams, like anybody can pass. There's like zero fail rate. You come to A levels and you see 85% of your class has like dropped that entire thing. I remember like it's insane how difficult it like goes from it switches really fast. You
Yeah, the
disagree with me?
transition is pretty bad. The transition is like crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you think all your A stars are just going to translate into A stars, and then lo and behold, all
Ugh.
You're looking at it for the wrong reason. A levels, it's about the friends that you had, you know?
yeah, the experience. I think definitely the experience
It's
is the
not
Yeah.
part.
my fault, Anne, that you had no friends in A levels.
No
Live it.
way. Wow.
Yeah.
Shots
Trying
fired.
to be shady with me.
Ah.
Trying your shady bullshit with me. Don't do that.
And
But
this is
yeah.
something that Tomin and Neenu Chechi have in common. They're both have some teaching experience. So I think this
Yes.
is one of the things I want to talk about today. Has everyone here watched The Social Dilemma?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, man, I
I
forgot.
watched. I watched.
Oh my God, Neenu Chechi, give me one thing to do.
I forgot. I wish you'd reminded me again. My
Okay.
brain is like a crazy factory. So like if yeah.
Basically, it's basically
but
like,
but we can still talk about it. I mean, you guys just need to
yeah.
introduce whatever piqued your interest, and then I can chime in, right?
So the
Also, before we
social,
get to it,
okay.
Tomin,
Huh?
please tell me, like you said, you teach as well. So like, what do you teach, and how long have you been teaching for?
Well, okay. So the thing is, I don't have a degree in teaching, but I have experience in teaching schools and Bible schools and in mentorship programs and stuff. So
Well,
that's
that's
my experience. So I've been in Vancouver. Has been teaching for almost like 1 year with grade 2 and 3 in robotics and coding. So that's
wow.
what I'm teaching. Yeah.
Okay.
You teach
That's
robotics
really,
to grade 2 kids.
Grade
yeah.
grade three,
Wow.
grade 3 and grade 4.
Wh-
They do. They have a program. I've heard of that. They have a program like
Yeah.
outside of school where they
Yeah.
can teach them coding. So like from a very young age, like you know what coding is. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started that at our school too. So it's I
Oh,
was just
that's
like, where
nice.
was all this stuff when we were?
Don't
Yeah,
promote your
yeah.
school, okay? Like it's free
Am,
promotion for.
am I allowed to just
Yeah,
shout out?
you can shout out to my school, shout out to my principal and the lunch
Indeed.
lady.
Shout
Get,
out to
get,
Mrs. Lee.
get a
That was
promotion.
exactly Nairobi International School, guys.
NIS people, NIS.
Yeah. All right. So
That's
you were
So
talking
cool.
about social dilemma.
yeah, is it dilemma or dilemma?
I think it's
Uh,
dilemma, but I don't know.
Or is
Obviously,
it
I'm not a teacher.
or is it
but
is it is it Dalai Lama?
Okay, there. Okay,
oh
there.
God, that was terrible.
Yeah.
You know, he tries, and then if you don't laugh at it, he'd be like, "Guys, I was trying to make a joke. Nobody laughed." I'm like, "It wasn't
Oh
a
God.
joke."
Never done that.
Social dilemma.
That's right.
I would say that.
Okay, it's a
Yeah.
documentary on Netflix, a documentary movie where all these guys who used to be in like the high tech positions in like Google, Facebook, they've left Google and Facebook, and they're kind of talking about like the way these things are heading in the future. It's kind of scaring them and stuff. So they're like, what can we do in terms of restructuring these social media platforms? And they mainly focus on like the impact it has on teenagers, kids, right? How social media is affecting people's moods, how it's leading to a polarization between people. And you're a teacher and
Yeah.
you're interacting with kids on the daily. What do you
Yeah.
think is kids using, or I guess getting addicted to social media is a problem, but what do you think about that topic?
No, I think it's definitely a problem because it's not just the kids. Like I think just from my generation onwards, it's you guys have heard of like social media anxiety,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like that thing for comparison and all that stuff, yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
brought down together. I think it really just beyond kids, it affects everyone, right? So too much of it, um, consistently comparing yourself, and because no one puts the sad stuff up. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
pretty. No
unrealistic.
one. Yeah, and then with kids, I guess it's a little worse because they've come into a world that already has it, right? Like for a lot of us, it was transition. We
Mm-hmm.
remember a time before social media, but
Mm-hmm.
for them, it's just like bam, yeah, we've come into social
Yeah.
media. So the world is already, it's like, it's attuned to that. So I think for them, it's a lot more difficult to get out of that space,
Mm-hmm.
and then for teenagers, just that weird age, from transition where you're like trying to find yourself, and then you're bombarded by this nonsense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And because now we're at a point where we know everything that's happening, right, in everyone's lives, like every little thing. So,
Hopefully.
no, is that a
Or
good thing? That's a terrible thing. Like,
see,
I
I
don't
think
know.
I think we
Well,
know what they show us. Not I don't think you know what's happening with me, but you only see what I show you. So it
Yeah,
depends on the mask I put in front of you. I might not be as happy as I look, or maybe I am battling like a lot of anxiety, depression, all of those kind of things. But then it's like the mask that I have to hold up in front of the pressure of holding up a mask.
Yeah, so
It's
like the thing, the pressure for kids is more because first of all, it's not that they're just following their friends. They're people who are making money off of being on social media. We're talking about influencers and blah blah blah. And for them, it's like I'm posting consistently throughout my day, every little detail. Yeah,
Mhm.
even if it's made up. And you have these kids that are consistently like that is thrown at them. Yeah. And beyond that, you're even thinking about how they put themselves out there on the space as well. Yeah. There's so many things. I know like I don't know if this is controversial, but even the idea of things like, um, sexually related stuff. Yeah. Just you're talking about nudes and stuff like that. And it's younger kids that have to deal with that stuff right now. Yeah. So I don't know. Wait, I don't know if we're rated 18 or something on this
No, no,
podcast.
no, no. We're not. We're not. We're rated
Yeah,
61.
just
We're rated
Oh,
61.
all
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So you
uh,
see, you have this thing where they have to deal with a lot. Like we probably encountered a lot of those things at a better age where we were able to handle it. But for them, it's happening at such a younger age. Yeah. So even depression and anxiety and all that stuff, it
Hmm.
is it is with like a younger group of kids, and that's unfortunate. It's really sad. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Because
like,
I remember playing, yeah. There was no worry for me, yeah, about the world or my existence in this world. Yeah. My worry was how long do I get to stay outside and play? And that's not what the kids are
yeah, for
suffering
the
to.
uh, a lot of kids, they're basing like their image based on like the likes, the amount of likes they get, and they're always like comparing themselves to these unrealistic standards that are portrayed on social media. So, like, what do kids do to like get out of that cycle, or can they even get out of it at all? You know?
Yeah, that's quite
I
tricky. I don't know. Yeah, Tomin?
I have seen kids who got invested with social media a lot, and the addiction creates a nature where they lose balance in the life. So the work balance, um, their family balance, and relationship balance. So everything that when they invest too much time in it, they create a world in the social media like a fantasy world, and such as TikTok. So we see people in TikTok. I'm not saying most of the people, but in TikTok they just think they're the TikTok celebrity. They just think they're just that, and there's nothing life beyond it. So that's like addiction that gets into the point where you're like stuck to it, and there's no getting back from it. So
And talking about being addicted, Tommy, you're pretty addicted to social media.
I am. I say like I'm addicted to social media too, but the things that okay, most of the time I'm on Instagram, right? And I'm not on Messenger or something else. But it's just okay. First of all, like when I'm on Instagram, like my thing stays active. So and I talk to people and stuff, but I wouldn't say addicted. I do my work, and at the same time I'm like it stays on. So yeah.
That is an example of addiction, guys. You denial. Denial is the first step, okay?
Yeah,
You're
dude.
denying.
Sometimes 3 a.m. in the morning, I go on Instagram and Tomin's still there, and I'm like, "What are you doing,
I
bro?"
Yeah, I mean, I like I
you
sleep
do.
late. I'm a night owl, right? I
What
sleep
am I
late
doing?
at 2 or 3 or something, and I work at night. Like in morning, I'm very like pretty like laid back. In night is where my head like starts working and work on my studies or do my things, or
Shit, we
that's
should
what.
call this the late night Chaya show then.
Yeah, you guys, I'm actually, it's like nearly 10 p.m. So mine is late night chaya show over here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
like just the way he was speaking about addiction, I think I was addicted at some point as well. At some point I still am. But like there was a point where actively I was just like, this is not good. And I can't compartmentalize like him. I can't do work. Like it's like every other minute I'm checking or
Mhm,
something.
mhm, mhm.
So I think it's like any other sort of addiction. You have to sort of wean yourself out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Um,
fair. Yeah.
for me, it was like small things. So I'd be like, okay, um, half an hour, no looking. and then move to an hour, to 2 hours, to 8 hours, to 12
Yeah,
hours. So I think
just
clearly, like, I had to make that active choice where and then you have these apps on your phone where it just locks it up, like you can't access your social media. So I think for extreme cases, those things would also, like, it's great because once you get used to it, you're so much more, like, involved in what's happening, and you're
in the
not
real
thinking about
life,
certain
in the
stuff,
real
right?
life.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
your mind should set where your priorities should lie, right? Is it social media? Is it like other work you have to do? And
But
once you set
I
that, yeah,
no, sorry, finish
yeah.
it.
Once you set that in mind, then you can get, like, for me, like, in the beginning I used to be like too attached to the social media, but now I'm like, hey, you know what? I have to go get this work done, and then I look at social media or something, and I do it, and then I look at it. So it helped me
Yeah.
a lot.
And I
But I have a different story. Sorry, Libin. I have a different story compared to like you guys. Like I look at Instagram or Facebook and see how perfect everyone's life is, and I'm just like, why is my life not perfect? And then everyone will be like, no, it's not. It's fine. Like, not everyone has this. But then I'm like, everybody is like traveling. Even when they study, it's so fancy, and I'm like, I want to study fancy. Like, how do you study fancy? Like, it's like pink pens and like pink mug and pink notebooks, and I'm like, how do you even do this? Like, sometimes you look at I wish I could show you like these notebooks that people write the notes, and it's like beautiful. And I'm just like, what?
yo
Who
yo
has
yo
the
yo
time to rewrite
people
all this?
people who study like that, they still be failing, you know.
Yeah, so you
No,
never know.
I think
So
one
I
of
that's
mean,
the
it.
Ask
That's
Neenu
yeah, I
the
mean,
Chechi.
impact it had on me.
Neenu Chechi is a teacher. She'll tell you any
yeah.
book with all those highlights.
Mhm.
That's a C plus right there.
Oh my God. Yeah, those people with like perfect notes and different colored
Yes.
topics and headlines and sub-headlines.
Yeah. To that, to like their clothes, their shoes, their hair, their makeup, everything is so perfect. Look at the guys, like they're traveling, they're doing things, and I'm like,
But
why is
and
it not
the thing
happening?
is,
My internet cut out. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Neenu Chechi, I know, right?
yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
one other thing that I noticed that like I see my parents getting addicted to
Yeah,
social media, which is
that is
very
true.
funny because
WhatsApp.
my parents, I feel like they need like phones to like in the washroom too, which is so like weird to me. My mom's like, he's probably like reading the newspaper. My dad sends me so many forwards that I'm just like, I don't.
WhatsApp.
Well,
My dad,
who is more impressionable? Kids or adults? Adults with WhatsApp
adults,
forwards or kids?
adults.
100%
Specifically our parents. Yeah, our parents. Do you know how many, like, dad send me like a forward, and I'd be like, please tell me you didn't forward it to anyone else because this is fake news. Yeah. And he's like, I've learned from you, so I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Yeah, dude,
But
those WhatsApp forwards be kind of mad,
oh
you know?
God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. No, yeah.
They've taken over the internet at this point. Yeah. Like, have you guys noticed Facebook? Facebook, we don't even
Yeah, we
Facebook
don't
is
even
done.
use Facebook anymore.
That's
Oh
true.
God.
No, I think this has also secretly helped in this is one of the topics we wanted to talk about anyway. So I feel even like in finding matchmakings, the social
Mm.
media is helping my parents secretly. This needs to stop.
All of these matrimonial, what are they called?
They're called matrimonial sites, I think, but then there are
Tomin,
Yes,
Tomin,
yes.
name all of them.
Are you serious? What's happening? Tomin, do
Wait,
you know them by heart? Do you have an account in all of them?
matrimonial sites?
Do you
Yes.
have a kind in all of them?
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
all of them.
I know people who are on different sites, so I can just tell from that, But
Uh-huh.
Oh, how do you get to know these people, bro?
How did you
bro, like look at my age, right? So everyone that my age group are getting married, so it's kind of explainable. So
I cannot. Tomin looks like so tiny to me. Like I keep thinking like Tomin's like 20, but he's older than me, and it's so difficult in my head to like process that. He's like, I'm looking for marriage, and I'm like, isn't that like illegal? Like child marriage is illegal. And I'm like, shit, he's older than me. But
Yo,
yeah.
you know what? Neenu Chechi can marry you two right now.
Huh?
Who?
What?
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 What did you just say?
Why not have a say in this?
talking about talking about marriage, Neenu Chechi,
Yes.
you seem to have avoided marriage for quite long, which I'm very
Oh
proud
my
of.
God.
I
Thank
I
you.
fully support women making the decision not to get married because I really don't
Okay,
think
so
you have to get
I
married.
I want you to write a book on it so I can read and like know how to do it.
unfortunately I don't have information for a book. I think it's just okay, so luckily I haven't had pressure from my parents. I will say that.
That's a
If
big
the pressure
factor.
has come,
Even
it
like
has
25, 26, 27, those ages, no.
do you know, like they'll bring it up, like if mom brings it up, and she'll be like, oh, there's a proposal or blah blah blah, and I'll be like, I don't think I'm ready, and she'll get annoyed. um but it's never reached a point where I've had to talk to the person or even have to look at their photograph. They've
Damn.
probably seen the photograph, but I haven't reached that point where I've had to do that. And I don't know. I don't know if they're afraid of me. Maybe that might that might be the reason.
What have
But
you done to them?
the only pressure that comes up is because of community. I've noticed that. It's the
Mm-hmm.
people around that are kind of asking them, hey, shouldn't she like get married? So
Hmm.
why aren't you? So for them, the pressure I think comes from like, oh, this auntie or this uncle has been asking, and like, or the ones who probably their kids have gotten married, and they're just like, what about you? Yeah, why
You
you
know,
still?
the funny thing is, the comparison doesn't end after you finishing your studies. It stays after marriage. It stays
And
till the
then
kids.
Yeah, you're always gonna get compared
Then it,
one way or
I
the
think
other.
that's not. No, I'm seriously jealous that you haven't seen a guy's picture. You haven't like talked to a guy, and I think from my final year of university, I've been getting like things, and it has freaked me out until like I told my parents like, oh, it's a long story, but I told my parents and I was like, I am not ready. I am not ready. Like, I don't know. They're like, you don't have to get married now. You can date. I'm just like, no, I'm not ready to date or marry. We're not doing either of those.
and that's the
And
thing,
I came off as the most arrogant, aggressive, and like a wild girl that nobody cares about now because I've rejected like guys. And I called up a guy and I was like, I told him in a very, very polite way that like, listen, I'm not ready. And he was so understanding. He was like, you see, if you're not ready, no one should force you. And I was like,
yeah.
oh, you're so nice. Like, thank you so much, dude. And then like that was it. But then I came across to my family as a very arrogant, aggressive, and like a wild person, like who's so like, and then now my family's like, that's what happens to your girl when you send her abroad. Like that's what happens.
Oh my god, that
Yeah.
sucks. Okay.
I
I know.
think, yeah, it's always a timeline for girls than the
Mhm.
guys.
It's a pressure.
It's unfair, but the thing is, our community is set up like that, unfortunately, right?
Mhm.
So I think a lot of it is conversation, a lot of it is fighting, yeah. And eventually I'm hoping we'll reach that point where it's okay, like, what the hell, man? Like, what is this pressure? Why am I
Yeah.
getting married to satisfy your need or your anxiety?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I'm going to have to live with it for the rest of my life. So for me, it's just like I'm not like opposed to the idea of marriage. No, not at all.
Hmm.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't feel ready. So when I'm ready, I
Hmm.
will know, right? And
Exactly.
maybe it might be 50, who knows?
Yeah.
The thing is, I think, especially for us guys growing up, especially girls, and I think Anne can attest, we've had to do a lot of adjusting and accommodating. And as just like, this is the one thing I am not going to compromise on. Yeah. So if I'd rather be, because the thing is, I'm very happy in my space,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So
Preach,
when I find someone who
What
also
the
makes me happy at that level,
Hmm.
yeah.
then I will agree. It's not just, it may happen, it may not happen, but it shouldn't be a checkpoint in your life. Like, it shouldn't be a checklist in your life. Like,
Exactly.
if I'm not married, does it mean that I'm not living? Oh, please,
No.
I can't. I'm done with that.
I
I
With
think
think
that
that's a good
see,
idea.
point. Very,
the
very
thing
good
is,
point.
the thing is, don't settle for less until you find a person who can add value to your life.
Exactly. I agree with that. I agree.
That's
Damn.
what you. That's what
Right?
you get with social media addiction. You get quotes like that.
Yeah,
Kids,
dude.
learn, watch and learn.
Which freaking daily motivation page did you read that from, bro? God damn.
Oh my
No,
God.
No,
I
listen.
can
Thanks,
so
No.
relate to
I mean,
her.
for me, the
In
experiences too, right? So,
I can so relate to her in terms of community. Like I feel like my parents are like, no, I want you to be financially independent before you like get into a commitment. But
yeah.
then all the aunties and uncles are like, ayo, like avakku vayasaile, ini yaru kittana, ini yaru verana, like
Mm.
and I'm just like, you don't pay for me. You don't even know me. You've seen me like 3 times in past 25 years. Like, who are you to decide this for me?
Yeah.
They're like, you will lose your beauty. Like, oh, like after 26, you will like lose the glow.
That's
Let
very
it go. I
superficial.
don't want someone who like comes for the glow.
We don't glow no more.
No.
I have seen older women, they still glow at their own 40s and 50s. It's a
Yeah.
healthy dieting, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
I
Some of
mean,
these aunties be fire.
you. Oh God. But like that's, I don't know. I think, community is one thing, but I guess for our parents it does come from a genuine place of concern as well. I understand that, especially for my parents, because I am an only child. So their worry is always what happens when we'll go? You'll be alone. And that is it's a real question. It's a real, even for you as individuals, because being human means you want to find a partner. You don't want to be lonely. I mean, there's some people who are comfortable, but there is that situation they're probably thinking where like we won't be here and she'll be alone, and I get that. But the thing is, dude, you've raised a strong individual, right? People
Mm.
figure it out, yeah, and just trust that that's going to happen. Yeah, so I guess that's one of the things.
I also
Again,
think the
sorry, go on.
I also think the parents have this happy feeling like when you get married. Oh, I want to see my daughter married. It's just the event or that occasion, right? It's like it's so happy like to see the daughter is getting married away. So that thing is it's like a task or something for them.
It's a task for them, yeah. It definitely is a task for them.
It's also like I tell my mom when I tell my mom about the whole like I don't know if I want to get married kind of thing. She's like, your friends are gonna get married and you're gonna feel like lonely. Like she's like, you're not gonna feel anything now because all your friends are like in that age. But like when you're like not married and when you're in your 40s and you're gonna feel lonely. And I'm like, you want me to get married to someone because I feel lonely in my 40s and like
Mm.
destroy my 10 years? I don't get it. Like, is that a thing? Like feeling lonely or feeling like, oh, I wish I had that what my friends had. Is that a thing? I don't know.
No, you will. I mean, there's definitely the aspect of loneliness that will hit, yeah.
Okay.
But it also
Okay.
depends on you as an individual and how you sort of take it. Because I know a lot of people that will just settle because they're trying to get rid of that loneliness, and that's another whole issue, right? But it's okay. It works for some people. It doesn't work. I think it's for you, and maybe that might be the reason at some point where you do want to get married because you really do want a partner. And you know what? It's okay. Yeah, if it changes, if your mind changes based on some idea that you probably refused before, that's also okay. Yeah, it's just that you will know when you're ready.
The
I mean,
bottom line is it's not a straight line, right? Like grow
Ex-
up,
Exactly.
go to college, get a job, get married. They
yeah, I
shouldn't
mean
look
like
at it as a straight line. Anything can happen, and you're the right person to know when you're ready. To be honest,
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean
which is
that's the
what
thing.
Neenu Chechi said.
Marriage is not a compromise, right? It's not a compromise. If you once you settle down with a wrong person, then you're screwed up. You're actually screwed up. Like you have to. I mean, there's a place for divorce too, but do you want to settle with that and then
Okay,
before coming to
I
taking a
don't think
first
I don't think compromise is the right word because in marriage, I think you do need to have some compromise. Otherwise,
You have to, yeah.
there'll be
For it
some
to work,
trouble.
there
I
always.
know, I know. But before getting married, like, do you to compromise with the wrong person? Like, do you have to do that?
A lot of people
Mm.
compromise because of the community, because they're
Of the
not thinking
criteria.
about themselves. They're thinking about, oh my God, I'm not married. What's everyone gonna say?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
that's a thinking that that's a thinking that we need to change, yo.
I mean, seeing in marriages, there's so many people who would like like adjust and compromise even the person is wrong too. Like it's so sad.
Dude, to be honest, the way I see kids coming up these days, I'm not sure I want one, yo. These kids
I
be
don't
kind of
want.
crazy. You know, these
Yeah.
kids be kind of
I
crazy,
really
dude.
don't want. Like I was telling someone, I'm
Kids
like, I
go
don't
on
want
the
to
parents.
carry. I don't want to suffer for like 9 whole months and then like give birth disappointment. Like I can't
Oh my
raise a
God.
disappointment.
Oh,
I'm not.
okay, look.
Let's just adopt somebody else's disappointment. I don't want my own. I don't really
That's
want kids.
hilarious. Yeah, I
Kids
think
kids come from the nature of like from the parents how they discipline and how they teach and how they are for
that's
them, nurture
true.
them.
Very
So
true.
I mean, they adapt to the environment and the nature around them, right? So,
I
and also
can't.
from genes. So,
I can't even discipline myself. I'm not gonna discipline like a 2-year-old. What
That's the
happened?
thing. And like, I keep telling her, like, I still feel like a kid, right? How am I going to take care of another kid? Yeah. I'm so selfish with my time and like my energy. And it's a lot of responsibility. So, the way
yeah,
people think that's another problem, eh? People thinking that they can save their marriage with a kid. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That
and
is a whole other problem that exists in our society. The thing is, it's unfair to the child because you haven't brought them into the world like with the
or
right in.
or the other way in rural areas is where husband's family or like the guy's family is unhappy because the woman is not giving birth to a child,
Yeah,
See,
and
this
that's
needs
what
to end. This ends with our generation. I'm telling you. I
I it,
promise.
I don't think it's going to end with this generation yet. I mean, there's a lot of more people talking about it, and they're moving away from that direction, which is great. But it's going to take a while for those things
I feel like with
to
ours, I think our generation, we're gonna like be more accepting and more,
yeah.
I
you
think
know,
I think our generation in abroad, outside Kerala, I think in Kerala it's still pretty much the same, to be honest.
Actually, I don't know if we can really comment on that because none of us have. I don't know about Tomin, but like we haven't really lived there enough to
Yeah, but
to
I
know
hear
that.
like my
yeah, none
cousins,
of
you're always hearing about your cousins getting married and stuff, you know?
Yeah,
Me personally. So I
right.
think it's,
yeah.
but then it's definitely going in the right direction, I feel. And
Yeah.
having
That's
conversations
that's a
like this,
fair that's
it
a fair
it
point.
it
it's
does
gonna take
help.
time.
I'm here trying to
Okay,
to
what were
inspire
you
the next
talking about? What were you talking about?
We're talking about racism within our community, right?
institutionalized racism in our community. That's what we're talking.
It's very clear. There's no way my parents are gonna let me marry a black girl, even if I wanted to,
Mm,
you know? So it exists. Does that mean that I won't marry a black girl? No. If I'm in love with someone, I
yeah.
really don't care.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So like I think you're going to like of course there's going to what happened to Anne? She disappeared.
Hello, Anne.
Um,
Anne
wow.
has been taken over.
Difficulty.
Yeah. We're hoping to get some sponsors. Maybe we can build a studio, and do it in person.
Yeah, that would be great. You should. Maybe we should approach the matrimony guys.
Yeah, Tomin, hook us up, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Am I the broker or something?
Since you have accounts on all of them. That's
Okay.
cool.
Okay, I'm back. So where we stop?
You know what? I don't want to lose this conversation. So we were talking about um, what were we talking about before we hit
We
institutionalized?
talk
Racism in the community.
institutionalized racism in our community.
In especially in Malayali Kenyans who Malayali Kenyans, okay, who are like surrounded by like black people, if I may use that word.
We
Uh,
are we are this is not our country. You see, that's the thing. Yeah,
this is
we
not
have
our country.
society and we haven't integrated well. Yeah, I
No,
think maybe
yes.
the kids are better, but when you look at the older generations, they still it's very there's separate lines, and that's something that wasn't
It's
spoken about, right?
it's so similar to how the colonizers here look at the Native Americans.
Mm,
It's not your country. You come here, you are living off like someone else's land, and you look down upon them. And like even within our community, like like if you marry or date or someone outside the community, there's so much backlash. There's
there
so much
is,
backlash.
yeah.
And
I would.
So
and if you date a white guy, it's a different attitude towards you compared to you dated a black guy.
Very
or a
true.
black girl
Very
on the
true.
other hand.
Yeah.
My
I'll tell
What
you
parents
is
don't
I'll tell you
agree
one of the
equally
ways.
to both.
you don't
I'll tell you one of
agree?
the.
No, my parents don't agree to both white or black.
If
At least, at least
if
it's
they had
not.
to choose, if they had to choose, yeah, they wouldn't. They prefer like a Malayali, but if they had to
Yeah,
choose,
it's
they would probably go
marry
for a white chick.
in your community. Is marry in your
Yeah.
Oh
community
no,
is the
for
main
him
thing.
specifically, it's
I,
like it has to be within his community.
I'll tell you one thing, right? So the families who come from abroad to live in US or Canada are more culturally oriented than families from India, because the reason they miss the culture from India, and so they want to preserve it. So they're
Mm.
afraid that their kids will lose that culture and marry someone else. So they become more harsh on them. No, you can't marry anyone from the other community. So they're preserving the culture,
Look,
and it
we
also
can.
That's
goes.
not preserving the culture, by
No,
the
no.
way.
The thing is, and he actually has a point because for us, it's easy to say that's not preserving your culture. That's not the way to preserve your culture.
That's not the
Yeah,
way to preserve a culture.
that's
Yeah.
not the way. But in like for them, it's this is a different generation we're dealing with. Yeah, for them, that's all they know, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
the way they enforce it is completely different. So I don't think all these conversations that we have, we're not going to we're not going to win them over.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not.
what we're gonna do is on our level for our
Yeah.
kids, it's probably gonna
Not
be
take
different.
it further. That's the thing. We can't take it further. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And in terms of like personal, like individual stories, I think as much as you can, you need to stand up for what's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can get messy, but like I don't know. I think at the end of the day, sometimes like not sometimes the fight should be worth it, right? For
Yeah.
that
Yes.
change.
But
Yes.
then, okay, not to look all on the negative side, there is obviously some positive to marrying with someone with your community. You share more similar values,
Yeah, no,
the
and that's the
lifestyle.
thing. There
Yeah.
is absolutely no negative thing about marrying. Our point over here is marry
It's
who you
not
want
to,
to marry, right?
yes, not to be
Exactly,
Marry who you want to
exactly.
imposed.
marry.
Yeah.
Yeah, our point
Because
here
the
is
thing
not
is,
like it's you have to get married to someone else outside your culture, like
yeah,
grow your culture. That's not the point. Our
no.
point is very simple. Like, it should not be imposed. Marrying should be your choice, not your parents, communities, your grandparents, or your relatives. It should be who you want to live with, regardless of their community background, the skin color of their skin, the religion they follow, their interests. Regardless of all this, it should not be imposed to you. You should not have like like, so my friends one of my friends told me that, oh, my mom said it's okay to marry any brown guy, like as long as he's brown, it's okay. And I'm like, oh, my mom said to I can marry any Malayali Catholic guy in your courtyard. that is
Yeah.
where the spectrum is, okay? From any brown guy to like a Malayali Catholic guy with a very good family name. Mom was like,
Oh my
he has
God,
to
it's
have.
the same thing for like I think even within the way
It's a
it's set.
social status.
What's
Sorry.
this? Is it the canal community? Yeah.
The,
Kanana,
the, the Kanaya community, yeah, the Kanaya community. Jesus, what is that
Yeah.
about? They think they're
Yes,
pure blood.
guys.
I'm no one
Yeah.
against it. I mean, like, you.
Yeah,
I'm
but
pretty
that's
sure you guys are. I'm
another
sorry.
level. That's another level that also needs to be addressed. I
What
think there
what is
are
it?
like,
I've never heard of it. What is it?
no, it's the
Nanaya?
Wait, Apu, which community are you from? Like which Christian,
I think
whatever?
he's Nanaya too.
He's Orthodox.
No,
You
No,
go to
Jacobite.
the canal
he's
thing.
not.
I'm
Those
from
prayers that
I'm
you go
from
for.
I'm from Kerala mainly.
Yeah,
He's not
fine.
Orthodox. Like,
The thing is, there is a huge over here, especially. All those prayers that go on for hours. There's a lot of
which
Kananayas.
church did you go to? Libin, apart
Uh-huh.
from the Lavington one, which church did you go to? Did you go to the church where Krupa and Dion and those guys went?
I went to
Those
this
private
church which had
things.
like a cross on it and like a bell.
This is. See,
That's
I
nothing.
like that.
Bro,
I like
I don't
that.
I
That's the
literally don't
understanding.
care. I don't
That's
care
good.
which community.
No,
That's
no,
I
great.
it's the
Apu, listen. I like that's the thing. That's the way all of us should be, right? But I'm just trying to make a point in the sense where to help you understand that community that exists. Yeah, we have a lot of those people over here. They are so strict to the extent that they have their own matrimonial site, like
Yeah, they
where
do.
you have to be. Yeah. So
You
like
have
it's
to be a
basically
certain caste.
Yeah, and you're married, you're probably a distant cousin or something. Who knows, right?
The bottom
So
line is the change is gonna happen with our kids. I think it's
well,
not
I
gonna
hope
happen
so.
up.
I really hope
But
so.
that's
I
what we
really
said.
hope
It's
so.
only with the people who live abroad and who are like open to like a lot of cultures. I feel like I have personally become more acceptant to different races after I moved to Canada compared to what how I was living in Kenya. When I go
Mm,
back home, I still feel like many of my peers are very racist,
yeah.
despite of living in an African country.
They won't show it directly. It's more like indirect racism.
But it is quite direct.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not hidden. It's very
yeah,
like open.
yeah.
All right, why
And
you
but
are
the
you getting angry right now? You should relax you.
no, no, rightfully so.
It's
Get
not
angry.
fair.
Yeah, rightfully so. But the thing
Yeah,
is,
it's not fair.
All
I
right, we're
think,
not trying to get anyone angry over here.
but you shouldn't like. I think just even talking about people within like India or whatever. I don't think we should rule that out because I'm seeing a lot of people being very vocal about it. People who've never left the country. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not just you don't really. I think because of this sort of connected world that we're in right now, yeah, you don't really need to go that far to be exposed to different cultures. You don't have to go live in another country.
But that's
So
a very minority percentage that you're talking about. That's
and
not a very the huge. Those are the people that who dream to like be outside and be like, you know what, I want to get exposed to more culture. So they inhibit it like naturally. But I don't think that is a majority of people who live there. That's what my
you know,
thing is. If I'm wrong.
people need to read more. I think that will help.
Look, the fact is,
I
the
feel
more,
I feel like there is knowledge in reading also, but there's knowledge among the people if you meet them directly.
Yeah,
It's
no,
more
definitely.
authentic.
Definitely, yeah. There's
yeah,
this thing in class that I teach. We do a whole concept on representation, right? And how media does representation and how stereotypes are created. And the first question that I ask in class is, what stereotypes are you familiar with, right? So you have these weird ones like, oh, women can't drive, or based on different races as well. So I asked them, have you ever met a person within that group, and they're like, no, that's why would be, and that's the thing, that's why you believe that stereotype because you haven't really met that person.
yeah.
And for some people, I used to believe that stereotype, but once I met a person from the group, I saw a different side of it. So like he said, a lot of it is also your physical experience. Yeah. So yeah,
And
definitely.
even if you don't meet someone, just look at yourself and ask yourself, am I those stereotypes that people say about like my race or whatever?
Nothing,
And
nothing.
then you just realize, no, I'm not. I'm like a complex person who has all these things going on, and if different
Right.
situations, I'm a different person, right? And then
Yeah.
that you apply that to everyone in the world,
Yeah.
and you've solved racism.
Not everyone thinks like that. And like unfortunately for us, media has a huge role to play in the creation of these stereotypes. And like you said that you're a person that has multiple, levels to you. And if you notice, just the way the media is set up, there's also a sort of power play going on, right? You know which race has the highest say in what they do in terms of representation. So they've already created an identity. So for you to, I don't know if you guys have watched this video. It's by Chimamanda. Please go look for it. It's called The Danger of a Single Story. Yeah. And that's what she's saying because everyone else, every other minority race is given a single story.
Yeah.
So we tend to believe that, right? But because we're not seeing this wholesome version of them.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing. If you're thinking about white male, right? There's no stereotype that comes in and sticks with them because we've seen every version of them in media. But when you're thinking about a Chinese person or an Indian person, there's this specific stereotype that comes to your head. So
I think
A few stereotypes.
I feel like racism happens also like when hate, right? When you self-hate on yourself, you start hating other people too, and other races. And also, second thing is like they're scared for their own race within their own race.
Right.
So they're scared that if my race lose this thing, so then the other race will come up. So they don't think in a way that they're like scared within themselves, right? So if the for example, I think in political parties too, if um, if that majority people are winning and the minority people are not winning, they're just scared of losing themselves in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the
That's
end,
very sad.
in the end, you gotta have more conversations about it. How do you get someone who's racist to not be racist? Try and make him see
Yeah.
how his how his thinking is racist, right? And how do you do that? By talking to him. And this is another fear that I have. Kids these days, I don't know. It's like I'm some old baba, right? Kids these days.
Kids these days is you, right?
Yeah, I am the kids these days. What the fuck?
You
Like,
are.
that's why I wanted to do this podcast because having conversations with people is a skill. And the more you talk to people, the more you're developing that skill. And the kids, they're not talking to people. They're on social media having these not real interactions, you know? And that's one of my worries. Just saying
Yeah.
that.
The thing is, I'm not really worried about our kids because I mean, I have interacted with some very, young kids who are talking about issues that you're surprised, like a 12-year-old would be,
Yeah.
thinking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is, I don't think we should also, again, yeah, because there is a bunch of, like, there's a large number of kids that, you're just like, okay, you guys are going to change the world, yeah. And I
Mhm.
do feel that.
Definitely.
I do like sincerely feel that. So I'm
I-
hoping more kids are like that,
I
who are
don't want to.
also,
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Never mind. I'm sorry. Yeah. You hope no more kids are like that.
yeah, and they're aware and woke. That's it.
But should they have the burden of changing that?
Unfortunately, it lies on us. Yeah,
That's a sad truth.
it's unfair, but there's no other thing because uh, our parents' generation didn't really do much in terms of the equality or equity or whatever. Maybe they did, but like it's not enough, right?
Mhm.
My generation, I think, I don't know what we're struggling with, but we're struggling with a lot. And then you guys as well. So there's no other choice. They have to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
And it's going in that direction, definitely, right? We see, the BLM movement is a big thing that happened. We're definitely going in the right direction.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah. I see it. I feel like the negative. I see the negative and the positives. I've seen people talk about Black Lives moments with their dad when they have not been out in the rally because you see the Instagram post about it. So yeah, I think there is positive and negatives.
Yeah, what about this?
But
What about this coronavirus, though?
I don't know. I really don't
I
know.
don't know.
Wait, do we?
Are we really talking about coronavirus?
No, everything is online now. We have to video call everyone. In 30 years, everyone's gonna have Zoom eyes. Everyone's gonna be walking around like, oh, hello, you know.
Why did
J-
your accent change?
You know, when you watch too much Zoom, your accent changes.
Wait.
Oh my god.
So wait, do we have any questions for this week?
Oh yeah, questions.
So usually we have some questions
What?
that are
Funny and
yeah,
I don't know what
Uh-oh.
to say.
funny.
Uh-oh.
But-
Questions of the week, ladies and gentlemen. If you have questions, the form is in the description.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Okay, first question, Poda. Yo, you guys.
You too.
This is
Oh
such
my
a
God,
th- this is
wrong
such a good
gender for
question.
me.
What do you guys think,
Thanks.
Poda? I've always thought about this question
I
deeply.
think it's a very nice malut thing to tell someone when you
Mhm.
love them and when you hate them what.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's very flexible.
Yes.
Yes.
Next, Puli.
Pulle.
Don't know what Puli
Pulle.
is.
Pulle is grass in Malayalam, but that
Oh,
again,
pulle.
that's
I
a
think-
bad word.
I think
only
it is- I
considered
think it-
bad in Malayalam.
I think it's more like Suresh Gray. Pulle.
Guys, have you noticed Malu swear words are the worst? Because
I know they make no sense. How do you call
Malu-
someone grass?
what? Skin of a mango or tenga cola? Like, what is it? Yeah, there's no. I didn't get any satisfaction using it. Yeah.
Thank you. Me too. Like when you explain, like they're like, "Oh, tell us a bad Malayalam word." I'm like, "Pulle." They're like, "What's the meaning?" Grass, and you're like, "He's like, who the hell cares if I'm called a grass or not?" But yeah, okay,
Tomin,
next one.
Tomin, what's your favorite Malu this word?
I wouldn't say in this platform right now.
Say it. Say it.
No.
Okay,
All
okay.
right.
The next question. What is
How
it?
was high school like with friends? Neenu Chechi, I want to know, how was your high school like?
It was awesome. But the thing is, hey, okay.
Which school did you go to?
I was in Oxford for my secondary, right?
Okay, wow.
I was in Nairobi South Preparatory School. Shout out to all the Malus that were in that school for my primary school. It was one of the best schools at that point. Now it isn't. I don't even know if it exists anymore. But I had a great school experience. But.
I mean, I've been in high school in two areas. I've been once in Dubai, once in here, and in Dubai was so much like it's like a lot of like skipping classes,
Yeah.
a lot of being and having fun with friends. Like when where there was a games period or like when the teachers didn't come to class, we have games period and stuff. And then at the end of the
Check out Dubai stories in our previous vlog, guys. Just a
Okay,
plug.
alright.
Neenu Chechi, you were saying, but what?
Oh yeah, no, but A levels. Wow, A levels. I was a very naughty kid, guys. I was in trouble.
No
Yes,
way! You were like the
I
mature
believe
one.
it.
I was in trouble a lot. Like it was that thing for nearly getting suspended every week. That's how it was. Yeah.
Wow.
Did you
So
like?
my friends were like they were like it was like the the hooligan group in school. I don't know how I got. And they used to call me
gangs.
Saint Teresa
They used to call
because
you
they're
what?
just Saint Teresa because
Oh,
every
Saint
time they would
Teresa.
do something, I'd be like, you guys, let's not do this. It's not good, right? Let's not.
Oh, you were the real hooligan there, you know.
Man, so and the thing is, I had like our Malu teachers in my high school. So like news used to reach parents real quick, yeah. And sometimes I would get into so much trouble at home. But the thing is, I don't know, I don't regret any of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a great experience. I mean, I wish I was a little more focused. I really wasn't. Yeah. Till O levels, I was just like, but yeah, A levels was a tricky time. Yeah.
Anne seems to be mouthing something. What do you want to say, Anne?
See, my friends are going out right now, guys. It's weekend, so everyone's in my house and they're making noise outside and they want to go. So they keep coming and asking me where the food is. So I'm like, fridge. So the more this goes on, the more they empty the fridge. That's what's gonna happen.
Yo, I don't know why y'all hating on A levels, man. My A levels was super fun. We were like right next to a national park. We had some fresh wind every day. See some animals. Had some fun.
Wait,
And-
Samaj was
and-
next to a national park?
And see
Yeah.
yourself too. So nice.
I've never been to his school, so I have no idea what's going on.
That's a new. It was a
Wait,
new.
hold up. Tomin wants to say something. What did you say?
No, I said he was saying see animals, and he was saying see yourself too. So
Oh
That's
no.
Libin, not as lame as you. He's not as lame as you. Let's just conclude
No,
that.
that
okay?
was way lamer.
But this is a repeated joke. So yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad. Yeah.
Okay, we have two musicians.
Musicians.
Musicians
So everybody
here.
who's a musician.
We're thinking Tomin and Neenu Chechi should do a duet right now,
Oh, let's
Oh, hell no.
I can wait for
You
this.
mad? Yeah. That's the
What?
You can't just
Neenu Chechi, your new song. No
Tom-
one's listened to this. Go to her Instagram and listen to the song. It's so like cute. It's like a baby.
Neenu
singing.
Chechi's
I don't know
Instagram
where
in the
she got that
description.
voice from.
Thank you. Actually my friend approached me and he's like, let's do this song. I think it was popular on TikTok. It's some really old school Disney song. So we just decided, what the hell, man.
Some cowboy thing, but it was nice.
Yeah, it's like
I
a
listened to
nursery
it.
rhyme.
It
It's
should
like
be on
connected,
Spotify.
man.
It should be on Spotify.
Start getting the money, man. Yeah. So the reason why Tomin and I are not going to do a duet right now is because you can't afford us.
Whoa!
Oh.
I can't even
Okay,
afford Tomin.
can you sing one line of any song just for your voice? Anything.
Neenu Chechi.
Anything. Just everybody.
Can I
2 minutes.
just sing the song that
Yes,
the
yes,
cowboys
yes.
do? Okay.
1, 2, 3, go.
I totally froze. Like I forgot.
Wow, you are definitely worth the money we're gonna be paying you.
Okay. One last time. You ready? You ready, bro?
I'm ready.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, go.
Ooh-wee, 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 ooh-wee. Riding along. Well, a cowboy needs a horse, needs a horse, needs a horse, and a blah, 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 because I forgot the lyrics. That's
That was so good.
yeah.
Tomin, you should have played the piano, bro, while she was singing.
I play the piano for singing. Yeah.
Next time.
Right. So yeah.
So
Okay.
thanks for having us. Thanks for coming, taking time off your A-level preparations and speaking with us. It was really fun. You were really nice. You give such good insight and good advices. Thank you.
Thank
Wow,
you,
I feel
Chechi.
very wise. Yeah. No, thank you guys
Thank
for having
you, Neenu
me.
Chechi.
Yeah. And I'm so happy that you guys started doing this. I don't know, is it Appu as the brainchild?
It's
behind this?
Appu's idea. Appu's and Tomin's. I'm just like the tag
Wait,
along.
who's Appu? There's no Appu here.
I'm sorry, Libin's brainchild. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think
Libin's idea.
what you guys are doing is
God.
brilliant. Yeah. So please, guys, keep doing it. Right. Thank you for having me. I am super humbled. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we'll have a next session where we can discuss movies, man. Guys,
Yes.
movies and yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
You know what?
Okay.
We'll do that next time. We didn't really get into it.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Bye,
Anyway.
everybody. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. Beautiful morning, yeah, the sun.